Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Yondu, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Brandon.
Hello, gentlemen. We are without Steven today. He is busy today, so we will catch back up with him next time he is on the pod. But how are you guys doing? How is your 2025 starting off there, Brad?
Fine.
That's good. That's good. How about you?
PG.
Yeah. How about you, Brandon? How's your 2025 starting off?
We're off to a solid, fast start.
Yeah. It is. There is a major snowstorm rolling through starting today. It's actually starting right now. It just started snowing maybe about a half hour ago. So we're in for a fun week, everybody. Wish us luck. Well, I think that we should talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol here for a little bit. I don't think that there's any news out of AMG yet. We're still waiting for their first 2025 news dump. As far as tournaments that are coming up, right now there is the January 18th BECC qualifier being held at Lost Legion Games and Comics. That is in South Charleston, West Virginia. If you guys want to come down and play, we would love to have you. Last time I heard, we had 16 people signed up, which means that it is going to be a 4-rounder, which will be fun.
There are still
it might be more.
There are still 16 slots.
Okay. We still have 16 slots available, so come and double our participants, everyone, please. We need all the people we can get. I did not pull this information up. Brad, we now know the date of the Spring Brew Brawl in Akron, correct?
Yes, and that is also a BECC qualifier, and it is
the final one.
It is the final qualifier for our region, and it is Saturday, March 15th.
Saturday on March 15th. There we go. I will put that in my calendar right now. Okay. But those are the tournaments that we have currently coming up. I'm sure there are more. I just don't have them in front of me, or they have not communicated with me what they want to do. All right. Let's talk about games that we've played recently. I have been out of town most of the past 2 weeks, visiting family or extended loved ones, and I have not had a chance to play MCP in that amount. I think the last time I played was at our last tournament, which was quite a while ago now. So, Brad, have you played any games of MCP that you want to talk about?
I did play 2 games of NCP this year. My first game was against CJ. He's playing Web Warriors, and I played Apocalypse. I think mostly because he hadn't played against Apocalypse yet, and I knew that. So I ended up playing my very anti-Web Warrior skew part of the list, which is Apocalypse, Magic, Psylocke. I got to play Toad because of points. And then Mr. Sinister, the linchpin of the list.
Yeah, the real workhorse of this list. Everyone that you just said is going to be Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister was the MVP of this game. He dazed Black Cat and Daredevil. There's actually a cool play I did. I beamed them with Mr. Sinister on round 2 with his Mystic Beam. And then he used the Daredevil move and attack reactive superpower to move where I could not beam them both and attack me, which I reduced some of the damage with the samples I had just got from him. And then I used the superpower to move him back into the line of the beam and off the point, and I beamed them again, and I think I dazed both of them.
Okay, that is actually really cool.
Uh,
That
Mi-
is a good play.
Mr. Sinister took out some other people too. Toad ended up dazing 2 characters. Actually,
Whoa.
I think he killed Iceman and dazed Spectacular Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man was on 1 health. That wasn't a big deal. Iceman had like maybe 1 damage on him, and I just spiked a roll, and I was like, well, that was unexpected. I guess I'll do something else with my other action. And then I ran away. He
That,
at the end of the game, he had 2 cubes on injured Black Cat, and he ran away. And I just like lightheartedly say, "Well, I'll just chase her down." And I could tell he didn't believe me when I chased her down. So I teleported through with magic, moved her once, and made an attack. And the look of shock on his face, he's like, I didn't think you were serious. So he moved her all the way to the corner. And at that point, he didn't have anyone left. The only people left on the table at this point are Day's Spectacular Spider-Man and her, who is gone. And I told him, in a tournament, Apocalypse will just sit here and get a point. But because this is a fun game, I moved, I teleported, smacked Black Cat, and took her out.
Jeez.
To be fair, it was also very good for him to know that that is possible.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
it
that is
was.
true.
'Cause he was not aware of those possibilities.
Yeah,
And he was very much during this game like, well, I don't know what they can do.
yeah. Well,
Um,
he did learn. I learned them
Found
what
out.
they can do.
You taught him about Apocalypse.
I did. And then I played New Mutants against Borka's Cabal, and this is just a really bad matchup. And the game went horrible for me. Anytime there's like a small chance that I can like stay in the game, the New Mutants just fail me. And we had a long talk afterwards, me, Borka, and Brandon. And I'm probably just not playing Cable enough. So going forward, I'm gonna try to squeeze Cable in at pretty much every opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, Cable is great.
Cable,
It's just weird that he's a new mutant.
Cable is great.
Yeah.
Well, his first 3 appearances were in New Mutants. 98,
Oh, okay.
99, and 100. And that was the end of the series.
Okay. Did he play Thanos in this matchup?
He did not, and it did not matter. Ultron and Red Skull are probably good enough on their own. I don't even remember what else he played.
I mean, that's
Zemo.
Ultron, Red Skull, Namor, Baron Zemo, and Mystique.
Oh, it was
Mystique.
Namor and Mystique.
What an interesting list.
Yeah.
What an interesting. Was this 20 threat?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me do that map again. Yeah, it's 20 threat.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you go wide instead of tall at all?
Yeah. I had a couple 4 threats, and those were my highest threat.
I don't know what you do. Like,
Yeah,
Because
if you
you-
put in,
I definitely don't
4
play Hulk.
3s and 2 4s.
I definitely don't.
what?
I definitely don't play Hulk.
Right. But if you put in Cable, like, how do you fit him in? Do you just like swap out a 3 and a 2
I don't know.
for him? I don't know.
I
All right,
think
well-
I think in a perfect world it's 5-5-4, 5-5-4-3-3 at 20.
That's exactly what
I don't have a second
Borka was
5.
playing.
Yeah. These were the things we realized that there was the way his roster is constructed. He had no good matchup into this scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we had a lot of conversations, and I think the consensus ended up being that New Mutants start Magic Cable, and you go from there.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brandon, do you have any games that you would like to talk about?
We played Research, Mayor Fisk. I played Borka. We played 16 Threat. I was playing Midnight Suns. He was playing Cabal. I had to bring Immortal Hulk, so I played Immortal Hulk, Man Thing, Blade,
Man, Proxy.
Leonard, and Wong. Yeah, Proxy Man Thing. So Man Thing, Blade, Wong, and Immortal Hulk.
Okay.
He played Red Skull, Baron Zemo, Scourge, Loki 1, because he wanted to test Loki 1.
Loki won.
We do math. 4, 8, 14, and then Bullseye. Yeah, so he was.
Okay.
I had to bring Immortal Hulk to play in this game. I didn't score points until round 4.
What? You scored no points until round 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won this game. It was more like it's a very low scoring scenario.
Yeah. Mayor
Being
Fisk.
being able to just turn off some points and not going for the Fisk to move them towards like Immortal Hulk, who can't be stunned, and can be healed by Wong, and then Hulk doesn't have to move and he has to like kind of come to him. Was kind of the idea. That was the play. That was, and I was able to take out. Zemo did not make an attack in the game. Scourge made, I think, one attack. Obviously, he doesn't play these models in a normal scenario.
Yeah, he's got Loki 1 in there.
Yeah, I think I just solidified it. I mean, Loki 1 just doesn't do enough. Was the outcome. Like, he just doesn't do enough. Like, playing that exact same list, but trading, like, Loki 1, upgrading Scourge to a 4 and trading Loki 1 and Bullseye to a Ultron is just a miles better approach. But, like, I have to play Immortal Hulk into it because it's, like, the only way to really kind of shut off his Dark Reign. It was kind of funny because he forgot that Man Thing had a place, so like he kind of like placed Man Thing away with Red Skull and then was like, all right, I don't have to worry about him, and then I just replaced Man Thing back up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good for him. Like, it was kind of like a learning thing on Man Thing. Man Thing did great. There's nothing, like, he's just really good. He gets in the way. Being able to place him or allies, like, that was the thing too. Like, even if he tried to place like Immortal Hulk away, it was also a scenario where then Man Thing could just place Immortal Hulk back into the fight.
Right, you had he likes to place you out of position, and you can just place yourself back into position.
Yeah,
God, Man Thing is good.
Yeah, so it was for me. It was learning. I mean, it came down to he killed Blade. There was a turn where if he would have killed Blade, he had a Dark Reign into Blade because Dark Raining into Immortal Hulk just isn't worth it. Because you have to like daze him and then do Dark Reign into him, or Dark Reign him and then do the next 10 damage, and it's kind of, is it really worth it? So he Dark Reigned into Blade. Blade was able to survive the attack with 1 health and was able to kind of move away, and then was able to get healed. So
Okay.
He was able to move away. I patched him up 5, so he went back to full health. So it was just kind of hard for him to. And that was kind of the point of like no return.
Right. There was no coming back from that. It's come up a couple times in this description. I want to say what Dark Reign does for all of our listeners. It is a Cabal specific card, and any Cabal player or character, active character, may spend 3 power to put Dark Reign on a enemy model. I don't have it open in front of me right now, but it all attacks by Cabal characters against that model are get reroll any for the round.
Any Cabal character can spend 3 power to play this card. Choose an enemy character. Allied Cabal characters may reroll any number of attack dice when attacking the chosen character this round.
Yeah. I think I got it dead on. I think I was correct.
You did. You did a very good job.
It is an outstanding card, and it was one of the first cards in the game. It was in the original core box.
It has been in both core sets.
Yeah.
They want this card to exist for some reason.
Because it's good, and Cabal needs it. Like, it helps Cabal. If you're playing Cabal, you are playing Dark Reign. There's no reason not to. It's such a good card. And it just lets them delete a character off the battlefield.
No. It's very good. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a fun game. So
that's good to hear. Okay. Well, those were the games that we played recently. Brad, let's move into your trivia game.
What trivia game?
We're doing this, everybody. I guess it's 2025.
Okay, gaslighting Fred aside. Here's how the trivia game works. I give Fred trivia for characters who are represented in the game of Marvel Crisis Protocol. And from now on, Fred will get a I don't know, an instinctual gut reaction every time I say a character represented in the game of, oh my God, what do I have to worry about now?
Yeah.
So I'll give him a piece of trivia. He has to guess the character that's represented in MCP, and Fred knows very little about the comics. Only what I've said that he actually remembers, and the few comics that I have given him. That he takes forever to read and get back to me. If he gets it right with the original hint, he gets 3 points. If he gets it right with the second hint, he gets 2 points. And then he can ask Brandon for help to get 1 point. He needs 6 points to win. Brandon, are you ready and listening?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. This character first appears when Vance Astro, an astronaut from Earth, first discovers the planet Centauri 4 in the year 3006 AD. This character is a native of that planet and time.
So they're from the far future, and they're from a different planet.
Yes.
The Centauri 4. So is there a person... All right. Is there a person who either A, is half horse... I guess Beta Ray Bill, or B, has a big frill of hair like a Centauri from Babylon 5. You know, there is a person who has like a weird mohawk. It goes the opposite direction. I'm gonna guess Yondu. I'm guessing Yondu.
Yondu is correct for 3 points.
Oh my God. His hair is not... It's not the same, but it is not dissimilar from the Centauri hair in Babylon 5.
I think specifically it looks like a mane, like a horse.
Okay, that makes sense.
This character fights with a bow and arrow and is part of a team that includes Vance Astro, who gets Captain America's shield, Charlie 27 from Jupiter, and Martinex from Pluto. This team mostly fights the Badoon, a race of reptilian aliens that is so segregated by gender that each gender, male and female, have their own planet.
Oh, okay, interesting. One, how are you from Jupiter?
It's the
That's my
future.
first takeaway. How are
So,
you from Jupiter? It is a gas
humans
planet.
humans have this is also like 70s, but humans have
Yeah.
expanded throughout our solar system and have adapted to their new planets. And I
Okay.
think the idea is that under all that gas is a very dense rocky core. Because
There is
because
probably a dense metallic hydrogen core at the center of Jupiter. There ain't nobody living on it. You're not living there.
Charlie 27 can, I think, survive the vacuum of space and is super strong from the gravity of Jupiter.
Okay.
Even
right.
better, Martin X, it looks like he is made of ice and maybe made of ice. I
Because
don't
he's
know.
from Pluto.
Because he's from Pluto, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Back when Pluto was a planet.
Right.
All right. Your second trivia.
Hey, that's 3 points on the board.
That's halfway to winning already, Fred.
Yeah.
It's unheard of. A gifted inventor, this character was in a business partnership that turned sour when this character found out that the business partner was embezzling money and cutting this character out of the credit. Since this character had no way to legally get back at their business partner, this character trashed the business and turned to a life of crime using the technology they had created to pull off daring crimes using their super strength and ability to fly.
Is this Vulture?
That is correct.
Yeah, it's Vulture. You listen, I know some stuff about my spider foes.
Do you? Hold on.
Wait.
Do you?
Who killed Gwen
No,
Stacy?
I don't.
You missed
don't know.
literally the most
Whoever-
important Spider Foes question of all time. You don't get to say that.
Fair.
I thought
But that is Vulture right there. What you just described.
that you would focus too much on the super strength and kind of ignore the ability
that
to fly.
did throw me. Yeah, the super strength did throw me a little bit.
This character once used a biological substance to restore their youth, but it quickly wore off.
Hey, isn't there a card that portrays
Yeah,
that? Like rejuvenation?
I thought maybe you would get it from that. I didn't think you'd get it off that first clue.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred, you're winning, so just don't lose points somehow, and you've got this.
Yeah.
Artificially aged by her father to an adult from a child, this character gained the powers of teleportation, intangibility, telekinesis, and telepathy, but lost those powers when the aging was reversed. During the Fear Itself storyline, this character gets the Hammer of Skaldi, the Norse Jotun goddess of bow hunting, skiing, winter, and mountains, gaining powers similar to Thor's. This character lost those powers when she lost the hammer.
So, my first thought is that this is someone in the Asgard world, in the world of Asgard. But I don't think that this is going to be... It could be Lady Sif. Although there's like... Someone sped up her aging. And when her aging was reversed, she lost a bunch of powers. That could be not at all related to the Asgard. And there's just like some crossover stuff happening that gives her this hammer of whatever her name is.
Skaldi.
I'm going to guess Lady Sif. I'm going to go with an Asgardy character. Lady Sif is my answer.
That is incorrect. This character has recently rebranded as Cherry Crane, a click clock influencer that is just asking questions about the LGBTQ community. Secretly, this character is orchestrating a violent response and a false flag operation to destroy the Arnie Roth Community Center, named after Captain America's gay best friend from before the war.
Okay, so they seem to be very villainous. Oh boy, who would this be? Who is? And they're a not TikTok influencer. So this is
It's
a relatively recent storyline.
Click clock.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I said not TikTok.
I was just remind you what it actually was.
Right. Who could this possibly be? Is this Sin? Could this be Sin? I'm gonna guess Sin.
That is correct.
Oh my god.
Her name's Cherry Crane. It's a redhead.
Yep. That was my hint.
Yep.
I got there.
So, out of a possible 9 points, you got 8. So, your bonus question
probably is worth 4.
Worth
and I
1
lose
point.
If I don't get them.
No, worth 1 point. So that if you get it right, you get a perfect 9 out of 9 score.
Unheard of.
Unheard of. What do these characters have in common?
Okay. It's Yondu, Vulture, and Sin. What do they all have in common? Well, one of them is catastrophically bad, and the other two aren't, so they don't have that in common.
It's a lot of assuming.
I'm not wrong.
I think I know the answer.
I thought he meant in like morals, and which is also true.
That's also well.
One of them's way worse than the other two.
Yeah, one of them is way worse than the other two. You're right. They are. What are they?
If I get it right, hold on. If I get it right, do I steal the points and win the game?
Yes, that has been established.
No, hold on. That can't be. I'm not gonna get this right. What do they have in common? It's not. Could it be Cabal? Hold on. No, it could be Criminal Syndicate. It's Criminal Syndicate. They're all Criminal Syndicate models. Are they all? I don't know what Yondu is.
That is.
We only know one affiliation for Yondu.
Okay, and it's Guardians. Well, I'm saying I said they were all Criminal Syndicate. So
that is incorrect.
I guess I admit that.
They all three have the hit and run superpower.
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, I did have to look to see if Sin had it, but I did know that Yondu.
Oh, so Fred cheated. Fred wins. 8 out of 9 points. Good job, Fred.
Hey, I didn't cheat this time.
I did look at Sin's character to confirm that she had hit and run. Because why would anyone know that character?
Why would anyone know
that's
that
why
character?
it was a hard question.
Well, I knew she had a superpower, and I knew it wasn't. I knew she had 2 superpowers, and I couldn't remember if the other one. I couldn't remember if it was a hit and run or a something else that didn't matter. But it's actually a good superpower that she had. So
It's the only thing that's good on her card is that she can activate, and then Crossbones can activate.
Yeah,
Only the bad one.
Only bad one? It doesn't because his name is Rumlow. Is something Rumlow, so
Brock.
Yeah, it's only bad one.
Yes, it is only bad one. All right, congratulations, Fred. You win. It's a rare event, and you're never gonna score 8 points again.
You're right. Yeah, because you'll just crank up the difficulty to make this even more impossible. Okay, it's a rare win for Fred. Yay.
And an impressive one.
I got One of them I actually knew the answer to, and the other two were lucky guesses. Okay, well, let's move on now to the, I guess we do the person that we're here to cover today. That person being Yondu, otherwise known as Yondu Udonta? Udonta. Okay, his defenses are 3 physical, 4 energy, and 3 mystic. He has 6 stamina on the front of his card, but only 5 on the other side of his card. He has a threat value of 4, a size of 2, and he has a movement speed of medium. Hey, Brad, why don't you do his attacks?
His first attack is Yaka Arrow. It's range 5, 5 dice, cost 0, gain power equal to damage dealt. Do not benefit from cover. Wild, slow after the attack is resolved. His second attack is Energy, Whistle while you work. Range 4, 6 dice, cost 3. Wild Pierce. Wild Hit, Yaka Mastery. After this attack is resolved, this character may make a Whistle while you work attack without paying the energy cost. This attack must target another character within range 3 of the original target, and any distance from this character, and it has not been targeted by Whistle while you work attack this round. Of note, this does not say that it loses this trigger for the extra attacks. So you can keep doing it as long as you have the targeting restrictions and roll a wild and a hit.
Okay. Hey, Brandon, why don't you do the rest of the card?
The first superpower for Yondu is a hit and run. It is 2 power. It costs an action. This character makes an attack action, followed immediately by a move action. The superpower can only be used once per turn. A reactive superpower, Ravager Code, Steal Everything. For 1 power, when a character within 2 of this character would drop 1 or more objective tokens, this character may use this superpower. Move 1 objective token the chosen character is holding to this character. This character is now holding that token. This character may not hold more tokens than the crisis specifies. And a second reactive superpower is Quick Draw. For 2 power, when this character is targeted by an attack and the attacker is not within 2 of this character may use the superpower. Instead of rolling dice equal to its defense, it rolls 5 defense dice, and if this character suffers no damage from the attack, after the attack is resolved, the attacker suffers 2 damage. And an innate, the Pirate Way. While this character is holding 1 or more objective tokens or contesting a secure objective, it may re-roll 1 die on the attack and defense rolls.
Okay. So that is Yondu. All right, my first thought looking at this is a character who is designed to let Guardians do a little bit more scenario play. Although, I don't know. I don't know if that is exactly what this shakes out to be. I kind of like the Ravager Code Steal Everything superpower, but what it is basically he just has the ability to pick up a scenario piece outside of his turn.
Yeah.
And when it's dropped within range 2, which is actually and a character dropping it within range 2, so it could be quite far away where they would have put it. So it is a good superpower. I'm not saying that at all. Okay. What are your thoughts on this guy, Brad? What are your first thoughts looking at this guy's card?
First of all, Ravager Code Steal Everything is the perfect attack against those characters where your opponent gets to place the objective token when they drop it. So the Shield Grunts, the new Black Widow. I could only think of her real name, Natasha Romanoff, and stuff like that. So I love that because those are so annoying. Pirate Way is great because it does encourage you to do something you should be doing anyway, playing the objective. I love the attacks that can happen over and over again, like Nightcrawlers. This one's even easier to do because you don't have to pay for it, like Nightcrawlers.
This is like Red Skulls. The Red Skull Master of the World has an attack that's similar to this.
And I know Fred knows. I love Quick Draw. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so fun on Cyclops. I love Yondu. Is Yondu good? I
I don't think he's bad. Like, for the record, I think he's definitely like there's play here that is interesting and useful.
Yeah.
It's just, like there's a lot of stuff in this box. Okay, sorry, I cut you off. Keep going.
I occasionally dabble in Guardians of the Galaxy because I like them from the comics. And I probably am never making a roster or even a list in Guardians ever again without my man Yondu. I just like his kit so much. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Brandon, what are your thoughts here looking at Yondu?
He's real, and he does stuff. He doesn't do a lot of stuff, but he does stuff. I'm not sure how much those stuffs are going to impact games. Ravager code is kind of awkward because you don't really want him to ever be within 2 of another character.
Yeah, there's some scornergy there.
Yeah, so
he doesn't want to be that close.
Yeah, so like half his card is like if something bad happened, like because Quick Draw is really good. It was the best thing on Cyclops forever. Like Quick Draw and the Pirate Way are really good abilities. Hit and Run's good. Unfortunately, the Steal Everything is not probably going to come up very often. When it does, it's going to be useful, especially if being able to daze character, you can daze someone on their turn. The biggest problem is he doesn't really fit anywhere in Guardians, which Fred kind of hinted at with his really bad guess that this model would. There are things if they get a Ravager affiliation, would probably help this model out a lot. I don't think he's going to be super starved for power. I just don't know if this model's ever going to do much of anything.
You shut your mouth.
3 physical defense is also just painful.
Yeah.
If someone does get within 2, he's probably just gonna die, and isn't going to hit back super hard. I think is also like a flaw. Like if he does, like when he gets flipped, like he doesn't have one of those like berserk turns. Even Whistle While You Work, like being 6 dice, like yeah, you can hit a bunch of people, but like you may not do much of any damage. So there's a lot of things that could go kind of sideways there, with not being able to do a whole lot on that attack. I think you're mostly just going to be arrowing people from range 5, staying away from everything, and just kind of holding points. And at 4 threat, it feels like you could probably do more. Unfortunately.
Yeah, he suffers from being in Guardians of the Galaxy, which already has a range 5 dice energy attack on a 2 threat character.
I will
we
play
were
that
just joined
character
by
too.
Steven. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Steven just joined us. How are you doing today, Steven?
I'm fine. I had a very, very late night, early morning, so I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We understand. We are in the middle of discussing Yondu right now. Do you have him available to you right now to look at?
Yeah, I just printed them out before I came on the call. So
Okay. Do you? What are your thoughts looking at his kit?
he's a range 5 attacker, like you just said, but there's somebody who's a 2 threat that fits that bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Jury's out, I guess. He might be a splash somewhere else, though.
Yeah, and we don't know, do we know that Guardians is the only thing that he is going to be in, or might he be in other things?
We
I think
got
that right.
we got his affiliations Friday. I think he is only Guardians.
He's only Guardians. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even worse. It's problem. He has long-ranged energy attacks, which there will always be a place for in this game. But he is in a faction that has a ton of long-range energy attacks, and he's a threat 4 model in a faction that has lower threat models that are more useful, I think, on the table.
Do you guys
That's what he suffers from.
do you guys remember when he was announced and they told us that he was a leader?
Yeah, I do. Like, it was in the zeitgeist that this was going to be a new leader for the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
and then he's not.
I have a
What
feeling
happened?
the Ravager Code Steal Everything was his leadership.
You might be right, and it was just too good for Guardians.
I don't know
Well,
what
the thing is-
happened, but I would if he was a leader with that leadership, he'd see a lot of play.
You're right. That would
He
be
definitely
awesome.
would.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
weird thing is that the Ravengers make way more sense to be under Criminal Syndicate than they do Guardians of the Galaxy.
No.
If they're spacey, like this is spacey. That's what Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy do. They're spacey.
Just
stuff.
because they're criminals doesn't mean that they fit with the Earth criminals. That's just a different
Yeah, but
scale.
being a Guardian of the Galaxy also makes no sense.
Same as I guess
except
Scourge isn't as
except
Guardian.
Brandon, that there are two versions of this character in the comics.
I know that they have alternate versions, and they have a lot of them have also been a part of the Guardians. But it's
they have the same name. One version is from the 31st century and uses a bow and has been in a ton of comics and is a founding member of the original, albeit in the future, Guardians of the Galaxy. The original comic version, though.
Yeah.
Which
this is much more fitting of the version it seems like we got. Like this is that seemingly that version.
it's a synthesis of the two, because the other one, the one in the main universe, the one that raises Peter Quill, has been in like a dozen comics. He's been in barely anything, and it only exists because of movie synergy. And he's
Right.
and like the jacket that he's wearing is very much that character. And there's a head option with that mohawk, with the like tech mohawk, the short one. And then there's a head with the big mohawk. But he's clearly carrying a bow. Like it's definitely a mixture of the two characters. And
So what you're saying is when this character gets errated in 2 years, it's gonna have leadership. That just is the Ravager Code superpower. Mark it down.
maybe.
Predicting the future.
Well,
All I'm
I think-
saying
I
is
think-
he's a very good fit for Guardians. If they're gonna take those two characters and make them one for the game, Guardians is the right place to put them.
I think Brad's right with the leadership, by the way, because I'm looking at a few leader characters and the non-leader characters, and the only time you see a colon is in the description of the leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. That's not something that they usually put in there.
Right, because usually they give the leadership name with the star, they do a parenthesis, and they do the affiliation colon. So that's the only time
Yeah.
you see that.
It would be Ravager Code parentheses Guardians of the Galaxy colon.
Affiliation colon Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Mhm.
There is a tactics card that is associated with Yondu that we need to talk about before we give him a letter grade, and that is called Plundered Goods. It is an unaffiliated tactics card. It is active. Yondu Udonta may spend 2 power to play this card. This round, when an allied character attacks an enemy character within range 3 of an allied Yondu Udonta, If the enemy character is holding 1 or more objective tokens, the allied character may re-roll up to 2 dice in its attack roll. Additionally, when an allied Yondu Donta attacks an enemy character contesting or holding 1 or more objective tokens this round, after the attack's resolved, he gains 1 power. Okay. Like, it's not terrible. It's not gonna be... It may not even make your 10.
It doesn't make your
don't...
10 in Guardians ever.
Yeah, because Guardians is stacked with tactics cards.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Like,
I think in other affiliations, this card would be pretty good. And if you're splashing it, maybe consider it.
It is, yeah, because it is unaffiliated.
Yeah.
You don't have to be playing Guardians to use this card. I just don't think it's fair. It is a good effect, and it'll help a scenario-focused team. This is a good card to play if you splash him into Web Warriors. But it is otherwise, I don't think, a very good tactics card for him.
See, I like giving all of your friends rerolls against the people who have the objectives.
Yeah, that's a Shadowlands Daredevil thing.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, it's good. I'm not saying it's a bad card. What I'm saying is that it's just not good enough to make the cut in Guardians of the Galaxy.
You never know. People might want to double down on the reroll check that Star-Lord puts out.
Yeah.
Or
you get a Winging It token and a Yondu reroll, and if it's Yondu, he gets a reroll himself if he's contesting or holding an objective.
Or you play his leadership and you lose the Winging It tokens, and then you play this and... Oh, never mind.
Okay. What is... So, this card. Yay or nay? Brad.
I want to say yay, but you really gotta really think about it outside of Guardians if you're splashing them.
Yeah. Steven.
It's not automatic.
Yay, nay on the tactics card?
Yeah, just this tactics card.
Oh, okay. It's situational. So
yeah.
You never know when you will need it. So
Brandon, what are your thoughts here on this tactics card?
They're hedging. The answer's no.
Right. That's kind of where I am too. Okay, so I guess that is it for Yondu. We need to give him a final letter grade. I think that this guy suffers from being in an affiliation that doesn't need him. He does do scenario-y stuff, which is nice, and I don't think there's a whole lot of in Guardians of the Galaxy. But that's kind of the thing. They're not playing that game. He's clearly designed to be a new leader for Guardians, and he is not, because the design space must have moved away from that. So I think that he is just not going to have a place in competitive games with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm going to give him a C, which I think is harsh because I like a lot of this stuff. There's good stuff on this kit, but I'm sticking by it because we don't grade these in a vacuum. We grade them based upon how the game is currently laid out. All right, Brad, what are you going to give this guy as a letter grade?
Okay, I really like his kit. I've made that clear. And he may not have too good of a spot in Guardians, but he might have tech you're looking to splash elsewhere. And if he's got what you want, I think he'll do his job well. I'm gonna give him a B.
Okay, Steven, what are you gonna give to Yondu?
Yeah, I'm with Brad. I'm probably a B minus. You can never underestimate a long range energy attack, especially with like new people like Dracula going around. Who doesn't
That's
like
true.
that?
Yeah.
So.
All right, Brandon, what are you gonna give to Yondu
as someone who plays Dracula, please tech this character against me. I'm more closer. I'm closer to a C minus. I don't know where this character is going to fit in anywhere. I don't think he has a home in Guardians the way it's currently laid out. Maybe in timelines if they get rid of like half of the good Guardians. But like
Nova's
ranking,
legal.
yeah, ranking Guardians, I mean, I don't even know if he makes like a 10 in Guardians unless you just really want to play him there, and I don't know when he ever makes your actual team.
Every
The hardest part
game.
every time Brad makes a list, sure. The biggest issue for me is like a range 5 energy attack is good, but being on a 4 threat character with not so great defenses, it's a hard splash.
He has
when
5
fours
defense
are
and
5.
everything.
Yeah, not if you get into his face, and then he's just dead. If he had some kind of better out of activation like movement or anything, maybe. But like I don't see a home for this character. I don't know where you would play him, especially losing a health on the backside just makes it worse.
Yeah.
He doesn't hit back very hard. It's going to be tough to fit him in, especially in 4 threat, where that is by far the most stacked point value in this game. If he was worked down and was a 3 threat, I think he would have a lot more playability just because there's a lot more flexibility in that spot. But like at 4, competing with like in affiliation, you're competing with like Gamora, Agent Venom, characters like that. It's not a good time. Like I just don't know where this character is going to find a home. I don't know because you'd almost only be taking him for a range 5 energy attack, and I don't think that's enough. I don't know when or why you would want to do that. So maybe I hope I'm wrong because this character is cool. It's a really cool character, but he just doesn't do enough, especially compared to all the other characters we're getting of late. Like he kind of to me reminds me of Silver Sable, who I also don't know has a true home anywhere. And I think she might do more than he does.
Yeah, it's a shame because I like anyone who has seen the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 2 loves Yondu. Like he was the breakout performance in that movie, and it is a shame to have him not appear to be a breakout performer in our game here. Now, I don't think he is like disastrously bad. He could play games and do work on the table. But yeah,
I think he's good. He reminds me a lot too of like Cyclops without a leadership, of just like, hey, people are gonna buy this character because of the character. Like it's like they didn't feel like they had to put any work into the actual like kit.
Yeah. Okay, Brad, do you have any comic books that feature Yondu?
I sure do. So, even though my trivia was about the future version of Yondu, I picked comics that are about the new regular timeline Yondu that is his ancestor. And this character is clearly both of those characters at the same time. So, I thought that was fair. The first recommendation I have of 2 is Star-Lord from 2015. This is Volume 1, 1 through 5. It's by Sam Humphries and Javier Garron. And the story is entitled Year 1, and it's Peter Quill's early days in space. We finally get the origin of Star-Lord in the comics. Orphaned Peter gets abducted by the Reavers, and their leader Yondu doesn't want this boy around. He softens after finding out the kid is an orphan and trains him to be a badass space pirate. This is also the first appearance of this Yondu in the main universe timeline. The second recommendation I have is he gets his own miniseries in 2019 called Yondu. This is by Zach Thompson, Lonnie Nadler, and John McCree. And this Yondu is set up to get the biggest score of his life. But with the law and a crazy mercenary on his tail, it might be a bigger piece than he can chew. Luckily, maybe, he just gets some help when his descendant from the 31st century, also named Yondu, shows up. But these Yondus couldn't be any more different. Can they work together long enough to survive? Yeah, so future Yondu and this Yondu team up to do a heist. And
so it addresses it. It addresses this character. Okay.
It's comics. Of course they're gonna like dig into the weirdness of it all.
Okay.
But the future Yondu is like this noble warrior type character. So the fact that his ancestor is a dirty, rotten pirate doing a heist is not what he would want.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. So this comic's like perfect for reading about this character because it's literally both versions together.
Okay. All right then. Are those all of the comics that you've brought for us today, Brad?
That is all of the comics I have brought today.
Okay. Brandon had to dip out. He had mic troubles, so he is no longer going to be able to answer questions. But Steven, do you have an affiliation where you think that that Yondu would really shine?
Well, I think I already mentioned it. I think it's Shadowlands Daredevil.
Yeah. Shadowland. Just to double down on those.
Unlocking the skulls, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rerolls. So, I mean, with range 5, I mean, that's pretty good. So
I like that, Steven. I also like when Fred mentioned earlier Web Warriors.
I kind of like him in Web Warriors.
What the card helps them, and he has a different types of attacks, and is still
he does put a slow out.
And he puts a slow out, and he's still playing that same type of game where he wants to do the objective, but he's doing it in a different way. So it's like a tech piece.
We agree that the unlocking skulls is the
well, yeah, that also helps.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yes, that also helps.
All right,
and it makes him more defensive, which was one of Brandon's big gripes about him, is that he dies. But rolling 5 dice with reroll 1 is pretty good.
Wait a minute, everybody in this game is supposed to die.
Reroll 2. Sorry, 5 dice. Reroll 2 if they're outside of 2.
Right.
Is great.
Everybody's supposed to die.
And then they take damage.
If you expect your characters not to die in this game is not for you.
That's true. That's true.
You're correct.
This game used to be way less lethal. Used to be way less lethal. It's pretty bad now.
It's pretty lethal. I mean, it was lethal a while ago. When the Black Order existed 2 years ago.
I'm talking like the beginning of the game. Characters would get dazed, but nobody ever died.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
Except Corvus Glaive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation. Yondu was played by Michael Rooker, who is a fantastic character actor who is in a lot of stuff, just a ton of stuff. And I really like a lot of his work, but he is regularly just a character who appears in one episode of a long-running show, or is a supporting actor in a movie that doesn't really feature him heavily, which I think is a shame because I think he's a hell of an actor. So what I'm going to recommend is something that I've been watching recently that is kind of thematically similar to Yondu, the character. As in, a lot of it is sci-fi and some of it takes place in space. And that is the new Amazon original series, Secret Level, which came out just recently. It's from the same people who did Love, Death, and Robots. And what it is it's a series of vignettes that take place mostly in video game universes, like universes that were created for video games, that just it's telling a short story in those universes. And they are all fantastic. Like, they're great. They're really good. And they have Keanu Reeves in the Armored Core episode. He's the pilot in the Armored Core episode. They have a ton of great voice actors portraying these beautifully animated characters. Highly recommend everyone go watch Secret Level. It goes pretty quick and it goes down real smooth. And that is it for our show today. Thank you everyone for joining us on this cold first episode of 2025. Thank you, Brad and Steven, for staying with me throughout the whole call. And thanks to Brandon too, but he had to sign off. And I hope that everyone out there has a wonderful 2025 ahead of you. Goodbye, everyone.